Donald Trump's going around saying, hey, look, I'm doing this travel ban, and that's because Obama did it, Carter did it, I'm just doing the same thing. I want to do a quick explainer as to why that's not true. So what are they even referring to? Jimmy Carter did do a travel ban on Iranians for a while. You know why? It wasn't because he didn't like Iranians, he didn't like Persians, he didn't like Muslims, he didn't like Shia. No. And he didn't brag about it in the primary campaign saying, I'm going to get Shia Muslims. No, it's because they took the people in our embassy as hostages, and they held them for over 400 days. So it was a response to a direct action, and it was for that period of time so that it could motivate them to release our hostages. That is completely different than a blanket ban on people coming from 7 different majority Muslim nations that didn't take any specific action against us at this point in time. Now, he says, well, I mean, look, Yemen is very dangerous, and Iraq and Syria, they're a mess, and they're dangerous, and people come in and attack us from there. Well, actually, that's not really true. In the last 40 years, there have been actually 0 fatal attacks from the 7 countries that he named inside the United States of America. So it's not really about the facts, it's about fear-mongering. It's not about any direct action, which brings us to President Obama's so-called ban in 2011 on people coming in from Iraq. So, did he do that? For 6 months, there was a slowdown of people coming in from Iraq under President Obama in 2011. That part is true. Was it the same as Donald Trump's ban? Of course not. So here are the 3 main differences in case people are trying to delude you with that, whether it's in the media or on Facebook or wherever you see this. Number 1, Obama did not prioritize any religion. And Donald Trump has clearly said over and over in the primary campaign that it is, in fact, you announced it as a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the country. And so it's a giant difference if you prioritize a religion or target a religion, which Obama's ban didn't come close to doing. It had nothing to do with it, whereas Trump announced that it was his intention while he was running for office.
So listen, Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States until our country's representatives can figure out what the hell is going on.
Do you still believe that Muslims should be banned from entering the country until we can figure out what's going on, as you've said?
We have to be very vigilant. We have to find out exactly what's going on. I don't care if it hurts me. I'm doing the right thing when I do this. And whether it's Muslim or whether it's something else, I mean, I have to do the right thing.
Do you stand, for example, by the idea of a ban against foreign Muslims coming here?
I do. We have to be vigilant. We have to be strong.
Rudy Giuliani said on Fox News. He then asked me, how do we make the Muslim ban legal? And they try to do that by targeting these 7 countries. By the way, a lot of Muslim countries were not targeted. Do you want to know the difference between the Muslim countries that were targeted and the ones that weren't? Where does Donald Trump have business dealings? Every country he has a business dealing was not banned. Every country he does not have a business dealing with that's Muslim majority was banned. So that's a giant difference, number 1. Number 2 is Obama's was aimed at a specific threat. So back in 2011, they discovered that there was 2 guys in Kentucky who were let in from Iraq who actually were, in fact, terrorist bomb makers back in Iraq. In fact, we found their fingerprints on a bomb that was a roadside bomb back in 2005 in Iraq. That's amazing. So what Obama did was he said, look, obviously we've got a problem in our vetting process, and at least 2 of these guys have entered the country. So let's slow down here until we can figure out, did anyone else use that loophole? So at no point, and this is point number 3, it was not a complete ban. At no point was there a month that went by where no Iraqis were allowed in because they were Iraqis. But they did slow down the process for 6 months to do further vetting of Iraq. So when Trump says we don't do any vetting, that's not remotely true. In fact, we do 18 to 24 months of vetting. It is the longest process of any country in the world. And in the case of Obama, in that 6-month period, he did even further vetting. You could even call it extreme vetting. But he did not do it based on religion. It was not a complete ban. And it was about a very specific threat that we had. He addressed it, fixed the vetting process, and went forward. In this case, Donald Trump says, we got a problem with Muslims. And so we got to take action here. Now, none of those guys, in fact, committed any fatal terror attacks here in the last 40 years. But he targeted them anyway because they're Muslim majority. He said literally to Christian Broadcasting Network, He's going to prioritize Christians from those countries, deprioritize Muslims by definition. So it is definitely about religion. It does discriminate, and that is both completely different than Carter and Obama's travel restrictions, and it's also un-American, because that's not what we do here in America, or at least it wasn't until Donald Trump came in. So his ban is much more discriminatory and clearly in violation of constitutional principles where we don't discriminate based on religion. And it has the added benefit for him of excluding all the Muslim countries where he's actually making money. You can help build independent media. We're now doing fundraising to get 4 new investigative reporting teams out there and be the watchers on the wall. We're not going to let Trump get away with anything. We're not going to let the establishment get away with anything. You help us build it. TYTnetwork.com/go. Be part of the solution.